Bear with me. Alrighty. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for liking the live. Love. Hello, Drea. Hi, baby. How are you? Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I pray your day is prosperous. If you are new here, my name is Simone. I'm the Chief Educator and Liberator at the Great School of Life. We teach God-centered manifestation. I take biblical principles and give you a scientific formula so that you can apply what the Bible tells you, right? I teach you how to go from caterpillar to butterfly in 6 months. I do these lives every Tuesday and Thursday for about an hour. So we're going to be together for about an hour. I am going to basically just restructure how you think about life, right? And how life looks to you so that you can create the life of your dreams. Everything you guys need to move forward with anything that I offer is always going to be in my bio, okay? You can click the link in my bio. You can submit an application to join Thinking from the End, which is the course that I intend for you to join. And you can book a call with a success advisor. There's lots of options. Please check into it. Outside of that, I do have 2 TikToks, The Great School of Life 111 and Influenced by MSB. So if I'm asking or answering a question that you didn't ask, it's probably because they asked it on the other TikTok. Outside of that, put your questions in the chat. I would love to answer them. This live is for me to answer your questions. So if there's something that's not clear or something that you've been trying to get advice on, put it in the chat so that I can apply what I teach to your exact life. Outside of that, let's see, everything is in my bio. The intention is that you join Thinking from the End. I want you to join the Great School of Life. I want you to come to us for your transformation. I want you to tell other people about it, and I want to pay you to tell them. That's what my goal is on this live, right? Let's get into it. Hold on, Drea. I saw your comment, love. I was just trying to, I had to get into a little spiel. Hold on, baby. What'd you say? I'm wonderful. I hope you're wonderful as well. I am. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so I got 2 phones, because why not? Got 3 TikToks, because why not? Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay. Everybody good? But everybody can see. Hello, baby. How are you, Ash? How are you, love? Okay. So again, if you guys are new here, my name is Simone. I created the Great School of Life to help you create your heaven on earth, whatever that looks like for you, right? Over the next hour, I am going to break up the foundation of how you think life works, and I'm going to help you rebuild it the way that God intended, right? It is going to feel like your life is falling apart, especially if you decide to move forward with what we're offering. You will go into the cocoon. There will be this destruction of self, and you will emerge a butterfly, right? So in this live, though, I am going to break up how life works, and going forward, it may feel like life is falling apart, but I want you to know that it's falling apart so that you can put it together properly. Okay. So let's just start with the basics. Okay. We have 3 planes of existence that we live on. We live on 3 planes of existence. And we also have 3 pillars of permanent manifestation. Okay. So we have 3 pillars that we live, or 3 planes of existence that we exist on simultaneously. And we also have 3 pillars for permanent manifestation. That's not a coincidence. Okay. So the physical plane is the one that we're most familiar with, right? That's the one that we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. That's the one that the world programs us to focus all of our God-given energy on. And it tells us how to feel. It tells us what we can do. It tells us where we can go, right? The physical world is the lowest level. You also have the spiritual realm and you have the mental realm, okay? So you are not a physical being. You are not your body. You are not a human being. You are a spiritual being, and you're having a human experience. Okay? You are not your body. You are the spirit that lives in the body. You are the awareness of the body. You're not the body itself. You're the awareness of the body. You're the presence in the body. Now, I use the word God. I use the word spirit. I use the word energy. I use the word power. I use the word source. I use the word universe. Whatever word makes you feel connected to the divine, to the infinite, to the all is the word that I want you to use. It doesn't matter what words you use, as long as the word makes you feel connected to the source of everything. Okay? Doesn't matter what the word is. So I typically use God and spirit interchangeably. Sometimes I'll use energy. Those are the ones that I typically use. But I want you to understand that you are not your body. You are the spirit that lives in the body. You are God in human form. Okay, you are the divine in a physical vessel. Everything is God. Everything is energy. You can use the word energy. You can use the word God. It means the same thing. Everything is God. Everything is awareness. Everything is presence. Now, on the back of this chart, I wrote this out the other day, so I'm going to flip to this at some point because a lot of you guys have been asking me like what God is or who God is. So I think it really helps you guys to understand it. So I'll get to that in a second. But you are a spiritual being, is my point. You are the divine in a human vessel, in a human body. You are not a human being. You're the divine experiencing itself through a human perspective. Okay? So you live on the spiritual plane. You are a spiritual being. You are God. I am God. Jesus and my Father, Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Okay? The Bible tells us that God created us in his image. You are one with the all. You cannot be separated from the all. You were created out of the all. You are one with it. You are a spiritual being and you're having a human experience. Now, you are spirit. That's who you are. I am God. And then you live on the mental plane. You have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. You have the emotional mind and the intellectual mind. And then you have the physical body that you live on. These are the three planes. So God gave you spirit, mind, and body when you were created. There's nothing you have to do to get your heaven on earth. You already have it. You possess everything you need for it right now. There's nothing else you need. I don't care how much knowledge you have currently. I don't care how much money you have, how many times you've been through heartbreak. It doesn't matter what you've been through or what you have currently. You have everything you need to create your dream life right now. Everything. The only thing that you don't have or that you're unaware of is the awareness that you have it all. That's the only thing that you're lacking is awareness. That's it. And you probably have limitations of thought, right? You probably think in a way that's limiting you. But the biggest piece of it is the fact that you're not aware of your power. You're not aware of who you truly are. You're aware of your body. We love that. But that's not who you are. We're aware of your age, your name, right, where you were born. We love that, but that's not who you are. These are just labels to group or distinguish you. You're not a black woman. You're God cosplaying as a black woman. You're not a white woman. You're God cosplaying as a white woman. You're not an entrepreneur. You're God cosplaying. You're God in costume. You're God in the persona of. You're God in the personality of an entrepreneur. Everybody has the same amount of God power. Every single one of us has an infinite amount. Infinite. There's no limit. I don't know if you guys understand how infinite infinity is, but there's no limit to it. Okay, now let me read the comments because I know there might be some and I'll be missing them sometimes. Hold on, y'all. Let me get through the comments real quick. 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, hold on. Thank you for liking the live, love. Frequency building, that part. Kariva, I like that. It's a pretty name. Okay, perfect. So we're good? Okay, great. So who you are is spirit, God, energy, power, source, whatever words you want to use. You are the divine. That's who you are. You are not AJ, 26 from Houston, Texas, that went to Baylor College. That's not who you are. Those are labels to group or distinguish you. Who you are is the divine. Now, God told us in Romans 12:2, God actually gave us the blueprint for everything. Of course, that's what the Bible is. The Bible is a blueprint for heaven on earth. The piece that is missing is the how. The Bible tells us what to do, right? It tells us to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto us. It tells us to not be conformed to this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, right? To seek or to receive exceeding abundantly more than we ask or think by the power that works within us. Like, these are Bible verses that we probably heard so often, but we don't actually know how to live our life by them completely. There's no how to in the Bible. It doesn't tell you how to do it. It just tells you what you need to do. So that's what the Great School of Life is for. That's what the life recipe is for. And that's what everything that I teach is for, is to give you a true step-by-step manual to apply what God tells you to do for eternal life and actually do it and follow through with it. Okay. So God told us in Romans 12:2 to not be conformed to what we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Don't be conformed to the physical. Don't be conformed to reality. When I say conform, right, that means to come together with. That means to make union with. I don't want you to make union with your perception of lack. Because right now you're looking at your life and it looks as if there's lack. You maybe don't see enough money in your bank account. Maybe you don't have enough food in your fridge, right? Maybe you don't have enough friends in your life. Maybe you don't have enough opportunities. Maybe you don't have enough resources. I don't know what it is. You perceive your life in a way that you see lack in some area. When you believe in that lack, and when you even label it as lack, you are conforming to what reality is telling you. You're conforming to the world. God told us clearly not to do that. Do not conform. Do not make true what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Do not say that that's my reality. This is what it is. This is what I have to accept. No, that's not what God is telling. Don't conform to it, but be transformed in your reality by renewing your mind. If you want to transform your life, you renew your mind. You don't try to transform circumstances. You don't try to transform an illusion. The reality that you live is an illusion. This is the realm of illusion, the physical plane. So don't get attached to an illusion, but be attached to the renewal of your mind. Now, what does it mean to renew your mind, right? What does that really mean? How do you do that? Because again, the Bible says renew your mind. How? Thank you for liking the live. You can't see the whole board. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see it now? Was it because my hand was in the way? Thank you for liking the live, love. I appreciate you. Right? So I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I was talking about Romans 12:2, transforming your mind, right? How do you do that? Okay. So that's why I created the life recipe, to give you guys a how-to do that. But I want you to remember what God said. He said, if you want to change your life, you change your mind. God didn't say change your actions. God didn't say change other people. God didn't say change the government. God didn't say change your mama. God didn't say change anything outside of you. Actually, God didn't say anything about the outside. But the world has programmed us to focus on the external world, what we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. It's backwards to what the Bible just told you. The Bible told you not to be conformed. The world is telling you to conform. And that's why you're getting worldly results, right? What we call scarcity, quote unquote, or lack, or worry, or doubt, or fear. Because you've decided, not consciously, you've decided that that's what life is. You've taken what you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch, and you've made it your actual reality. You've internalized it. And when you internalize it, it then reflects in the external. Anything you internalize is reflected back out. As within, so without. Thank you for the heart me, baby. I appreciate you, love. As within, so without. On earth, as it is in heaven. On earth, as it is in heaven. The spiritual realm is heaven. That is the spiritual realm. Heaven and hell, and this is not really digressing, but this might get some questions, which is cool. I think we should have some questions. We haven't had any questions yet, right? Heaven and hell are not destinations. It's not a physical location. And I want to explain this to you. And this is not to diminish heaven. This is not to diminish eternal life. Let me be very clear about what I'm about to state. And again, you guys also don't have to believe anything that I'm telling you. Let me say this too. I always tell you guys, and I haven't said it in a while, but I'm not here to tell any of you guys what to believe. I am simply here to be the light, to inspire you to create beliefs that serve you and serving God. That's it. Let me say it again. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to say what I believe is the only way. I'm not here to tell you that this is it, and if you don't do it like this, you're not going to get it. That's not what it's about. I am simply here to be the light, to show you that you can create beliefs that serve you in serving God. That's it. Okay, now back to heaven and hell, states of consciousness. So heaven and hell are not destinations, physical destinations that we go to when we die. So let's talk about this two ways. Let's talk about you, who you truly are, and then let's talk about heaven and hell. So you are not your physical body. I want you to understand that who you truly are is not physical. It's spiritual. That means that who you truly are is not bound to the rules of this physical 3D plane. That means when you die, which I call a transition because there's no true death of the spirit. When you die or transition, your physical body stays here on this physical plane. It's bound to the physical. It has to stay here. That's where it started. Who you truly are, spirit, goes back to being one with the all. Because before you were born, you broke off as an individualized piece of spirit and you inhabited a physical body through your mother and you came out a human being. Okay, so if you are a spiritual being, right, that means that your true essence is spirit. It's not bound to the physical. When you die or transition, your physical body stays here and your spirit goes back to being one with the all. Now, heaven and hell, right? The way that hell is talked about and the way that heaven are talked about, right? These are physical locations that we go to when we die. I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe in heaven or hell. What I'm saying is hell doesn't make sense when you know that you're not a physical body. You can't burn a spirit for eternity. It's actually not possible. You can't burn a spirit for eternity. It's not possible. There's nothing you can do to burn a ghost. You can't burn a ghost alive. So the even concept of hell, the way that it's taught, makes no sense. That's number one. But number two, what I want you to realize when it comes to heaven and hell is that these are states that you are living in right now. Because you can look around you and you can see people that are living what you would consider heaven on earth right now. They're not dead. They didn't have to die to get their mansion. They're living that whole now. They got the car, they have the house, they have the faith, maybe the love, whatever it is that you want, they have it right now. And they're living right here. On the flip side, you can look at your life or maybe somebody else's life or listen to what people say. Oh, I'm going through hell. Yeah, you're in right now. You don't have to die to do that. Okay, 1111. Thank you, love. You don't have to die to do that. Okay, let me read the comments. Hold on, y'all. Exactly, it's a mindset. My girl. Galaxy Gallery. Hold on, y'all. Let me read the comments. Frequency. Thank you. It's all mental. That part. It's a state of consciousness. Say it again. I knew I had the chosen ones in here. I knew I had the ones that was woke. I know I did. So, okay, hold on. So how exactly do we change that mindset? Great question. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Empress, love that name. That's my niece's name. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to fix my, oh. I love it. And this is the thing. I come up here and just create. That's what I want y'all to get into. Stop getting in your head so much. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have the light. I don't have this. Girl, get up here and create. Post that shit and get on. What you talking about? Post it. Who cares? Post it. People want to see it. I bet you. Okay. So we got period. I can't see the board because of your hand. Yep, my hands are kind of large. My apologies. It's all one. There is no physical separate from the spiritual. It's a mirror, two sides of the same. Correct. This is all linear. There's no actual true separation. That's correct. Okay, let's see. Energy, when we die, sleep, we move from one side to the other side of the same plane. Yeah, I was actually talking to one of the students today in the Thinking from the End program, and she was talking about how she astral travels, right? Or astral projects in her sleep. I've only done that like once, and I didn't do it intentionally. But it's people that like truly like remember the experience too. I love that. I do have a YouTube channel, Judith. If you click the link in my bio, you can pick one of three, I think. Or how many do I have? 4. Do I have 4? Yeah, I got 4 YouTube channels, baby. You can pick whichever one you like. I need to honestly post some more on there. Okay, hold on, y'all. I just want to read the comments. Your current situation is nothing but your past thoughts. Say that again. Lego my Legos. Okay, but what did Empress say? Why did you say that? Was Empress asking me the question about how to change the mind? I think Empress was. Let me post. Yeah, Empress. How exactly do you change that mindset? Okay, great. So we're going to post this so I can remember. But let me finish. I don't remember what explanation I was giving y'all, to be honest. I got sidetracked. But let's pull it back. Romans 12:2. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. It's not optional. That's how it works. Now, I want you to understand why, though. I want you to truly get the why behind this, okay? Because I want you to understand from a place of application. Who you truly are is God. Now, how is God represented? God is considered the all, the infinite, everything, infinity, universe, whatever. God is everything. God is all that we desire. God is all of it. You are God. That means that right now, at this very second that we're talking, I don't care what your bank account says. I don't care what your reality is telling you. I don't care. That means that at this very second and always throughout your life, you are always tapped into. Thank you for the what's up, Deontay? Thank you, love. You're so sweet. Okay, did you hit the goal? What happened? How many did you send? Oh, it's still going. Oh. Thank you, love. You're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, wow, still going. Oh. Deontay. How many did you send 111? Okay, you said more than that, but that's fine. Thank you, love. Thank you. That is so, and this is how I've gotten to where I'm at, and this is how I help people get to where they want to go. That right there, it doesn't matter what amount of money that actually translates to. That shows me that I'm prosperous. It shows me that I'm abundant. It shows me that I'm grateful. It shows me that I'm loved. And when I step into the frequency of love, gratitude, abundance, and prosperity, literally I can't accept anything else. That's all that comes to me. Now, I could have looked at that and been like, oh, that's only how many ever dollars or whatever it equates to. I could have done that. It's all a perception. It's about what I believe to be true. But I see prosperity in everything. I see abundance in everything. Now, I've trained myself to do this. I wasn't always like this. I was very pessimistic at one point. I had 12 bands sitting in my bank account at one point and was mad because I didn't have more. Right. Meanwhile, last year I had $12.61 in my bank account. And I was the most prosperous that I had ever been in my entire life. So it's not about the reality. It's about your belief about it, your perception of it. So if you want to change the mind, you need to change your beliefs. But first, I want you to understand why you need to change your mind. God is everything. Everything that you want, you are right now. You cannot turn the power off. It's on 100%. You can't turn it off. Doesn't matter what you do. You will always have the God power every day of every second of the rest of your life forever. You cannot turn it off. That means that all the power for everything you want, you have right now. Why does your physical reality show you a contradiction of that? Why is it that my physical reality is showing me maybe breakups, heartache, loss of loved ones, trauma, no money in my bank account, right? A shitty job, right? My car just broke down, whatever it is. Why is it that my physical reality is showing me an opposite of what I am? There's a hiccup in the mind. If this is on 100%, but I get 25% here, that means that this is at 25%. So let me give you a visual of what I mean. Okay, so y'all understand what I'm saying. Hold on, y'all. Thank you. You're the best. Just following you. Yes. Okay. What if someone was born at the time of 11/11? What does that mean? Were you born at that time? Is that the time you were born? So, okay, real quick, y'all. I'm not going to get deep into angel numbers, but let me just say this, right? 11/11 is considered an angel number. An angel number is really not typically. Sometimes angel numbers are repetitive, like 1111, like that, 222, 323, 444. But angel numbers can really be anything. 828 is an angel number for me. It's about Romans 828, right? 326 is an angel number for me. That's my birthday. So you can really make anything an angel number. Anyways, 1111 typically, right? The consensus that a lot of people have is that it's about wish fulfillment, right? It's about a dream come true. It's about new beginnings. It's about a new frequency. It's about new opportunities. It's about newness. It's about a dream that's come true. But you can make 1111 mean whatever you want. There's no meaning beside the meaning that you give it. Nothing has meaning besides the meaning that you give it. So if you want it to mean, that it protects you, you can do that. If you want it to mean nothing at all and it doesn't mean anything, it can do that too. It's really up to you. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say on angel numbers. I'm not going to get deep into that because we could be here all day about angel numbers. Okay, let's talk about this though. So what did I say earlier? If you are the all, because you are God, you and God are one, you can never turn off your God power. If you and God are one, meaning everything you want, you have right now, why is your physical reality showing you a contradiction? Because there's an obstacle and obstruction in the mind. Okay. So I want you guys to see these water bottles, right? We got both of them. I want the water in the water bottle to represent spirit. Okay. The water represents spirit. Okay. So spirit again is God. God is formless and God is infinite. So I want you to think about this water. If I poured this water out onto the table, it would literally just splatter, right? Because it has no form in and of itself. It's going to take the form or the shape of whatever vessel I put it in. Does that make sense? So the water has no shape of its own. It's formless. God is formless. I am has no conditioning. Based on the vessel, though, or the water bottle in this instance that we put the water in, the water is going to take the shape or the form of the vessel. You guys can clearly see that this one is bigger than this one's smaller, different vessels. Everybody has the same amount of God power. Nobody has more than you. The billionaires up the street don't have more than you. The people that own all the buildings don't have more than you. The woman that has less than you doesn't have more. Nobody has more God power than you. Everybody has the same amount, an infinite amount. You cannot fathom what infinity is. You have an infinite amount. That means more than enough. Do you hear me? Right now, I don't care what your bank account says. I do not care what your reality says. I don't care how much gas you don't have in your car. None of that is your true truth. None of that is your true truth. That is a part of your reality. It is a very real part of your reality, and you are absolutely experiencing it. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is, just because it's a fact doesn't mean it's the truth. The fact is you don't have any money in your bank account. The truth is you are wealthy. Always. The fact is you have $5 in your bank account. The truth is you're a millionaire. That's the truth, regardless of what the facts are showing you currently. Okay. So the water is God, spirit, no form, absolutely infinite. The water bottle is the vessel, i.e. consciousness, i.e. your mind, your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your identity. Okay. So this bottle is clearly bigger than this one. They have the same amount of God power, but the vessel that it flows through is going to taint it. This is, I am wealthy. This is, I don't have any money in my bank account. This is, love is, I love love, or love is kind, love is patient, love is pain, love is a struggle. It's not the water. It's not God. It's the vessel that you're allowing God to flow through. So that's why God said, transform your mind, transform your vessel, and your life will be transformed. If you renew the vessel, the transformation of life is permanent and it's imminent. It has to happen. Your reality is a reflection of your consciousness. Life is a state of consciousness. Life is a state of consciousness. It's not about the action. It's not about the strategy. Okay, now hold on, y'all. Let me read some of the comments real quick. Hold on, babies. Hold on, my loves. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Hold on, beautiful people. Ashe. Okay. Do you recommend any books to read, having a better understanding? Absolutely. I've got tons of books that I can recommend to you. When you join the Thinking from the End program, I actually send you 3 books, but I'm going to show you a couple of that I have right here that are good. So this is the book that essentially unlocked prosperity for me. So I've read this book a few times, but last year, October 20th, 2024, I remember the day, was the day that I was what we call subjectively convinced that I would always have more than enough. And I got that from this book, You Too Can Be Prosperous. This is a good one. And then this book, Happier Than God, this is a good one as well. These are the ones that I have sitting right here. Anything by Neville Goddard is great, right? Feeling is the Secret. That's one of the books that I give my students. That's a great book. The Power of Awareness is a great book. There's lots of great books, but that'll be a good starting point. Lego My Legos. Thank you, Deontay. I appreciate you again, baby. Abundance in action. Say that. Consciousness in action. Okay? It's not about the action. It's about the consciousness you're in when you're taking the action. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me just make sure I don't have any more comments. The Real Dirty Dan, y'all funny. Y'all funny. Okay, hold on. MVP Don, right? Deontay came through. Said, let me drop a couple of bays on it. Yeah, I was. That is beautiful. I love that. I'm glad that I was able to give you some insight. So now, yeah, it can mean whatever you want it to mean, love. But I would love 1111. Come on now, that's fire. Okay, 5-1s. We love that. I like palindromes, so I agree. I like palindromes too. I was born on 4/11 at 11/11. Damn. Sound like chosen one to me. You got 6 ones. That's chosen, baby. Now you got to choose it though. God chose you already. When God decided to put you on this earth, you were chosen. Now you got to choose you. Okay, heart me. Thank you for the heart me, Karmas. I appreciate you, baby. But we are all on different levels with our God power. So we all, yes, we're all on a different level of awareness of our God power. Exactly that, Kashi. Hold on. Let me post that. So Kashi says, but we're all on different levels with our God power. Correct. We're all on different frequencies or levels of awareness or levels of vibration. The lowest frequency is the physical plane and the highest is the spiritual. So the more that you move out of the physical, from being so conformed to what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, and you start to deconstruct that and you come back up, and you lay up your treasures in heaven instead of laying up your treasures in earth, where moths corrupt, or what is it? Where moths and dust corrupt and thieves break through and steal. That's why you're having the reality that you're having, because your awareness is down here. I need you to bring it back up here. The higher your awareness, the more of the God power you unlock. Correct. Absolutely correct. The higher your awareness, right? The higher the closer you get to the infinite self, right? The more of the infinite self you unlock, if that makes sense. Okay, let me back up. Hold on, y'all. Let me just make treasures are. Yeah, so the Bible says, lay up for yourself not treasures on earth where moth and rust do corrupt and thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourself treasures in heaven. Remember earlier when I said heaven and hell are states of consciousness? Lay up your treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not corrupt and thieves do not break through and steal. Why does the Bible say that? Because on the physical plane, things can be taken from you. Nobody can take your consciousness. Do you know why it's easier for someone who's always been wealthy to lose their fortune and get another than it is for someone who's never had wealth in the first place to get their first million? People who are already millionaires, they can lose everything today and get it back in a relatively short period of time. Why? Because they have the consciousness of a millionaire. It's not about the action or the strategy. The action and the strategy is a byproduct. Any action or strategy you take will work with the right consciousness. So if you are a business owner that's trying to push your business forward and you're trying to figure out why, it's not about your strategies. It's not about your actions. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter if I don't have enough people reaching out to me, right? I don't, my marketing, I'm not posting enough. I'm It's not any of the actions you're taking. It's not the strategy. Any strategy will work with the right consciousness. On the other hand, no action or strategy will work with the wrong consciousness. So you don't need to go invest in another strategy or take in some more action. You know how to take action. You don't need that. You know how to do something. We love that. We don't need the doing. The doing is a byproduct of the being. If we raise the being, the doing will automatically follow and any strategy will work. So someone who's already had wealth, they have the consciousness of wealth. They can lose it all, get it back immediately. Someone who has the consciousness of maybe not wealth or poverty, it's going to take them some time to get the consciousness and then get the wealth. And that's why God says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness or right consciousness. Before you start seeking the dollar or a strategy, seek the within and the right consciousness. Because when you have the right consciousness, it don't matter what strategy you use, baby. If you want to be a millionaire from real estate, you can do it. If you want to be a millionaire from selling ice cream cups, you can do it. It's not the strategy. Any strategy will work. Any strategy will work. I'm going to keep saying that. Any strategy will work. It's the consciousness that is the most important. When you get the consciousness of success, when you let go of the consciousness that you're not successful, or the consciousness of poverty, or the consciousness of sickness, or the consciousness of dis-ease, when you let go of that, then everything that you already are will start to show itself to you. You don't have to go get it. You already have it. You need to release poverty. You don't get wealth. You are wealth. Can you break down what the whiteboard is saying? Absolutely. How do we raise our consciousness frequency? Great question, Kiki. Okay. So let's get a little bit closer here. So let's talk about it. God said, renew our mind. Let's learn how to do that. So I'm going to pull this forward. We don't need to see the whole thing. I just need you guys to see this part. Okay. So let's talk about it. The first, if you guys are new here, right? My name is Simone. And I do these lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays. When I first got into this material 5 years ago in 2020, my first mentor was Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor got this drawing from a doctor back in the 40s. Long story short, right? This is the drawing that we use here at the Great School of Life to help you understand your mind. okay? Because your mind is not a thing. A lot of times when I ask you guys on live what your mind looks like, if I say the word mind, what comes up? A lot of you tell me the brain or a blank space or an ocean or a filing cabinet. I get so many answers, right? Which just proves that reality is not reality. It's your belief about it, one. But it also shows that a lot of people think the brain is the mind. And the way that science talks about it, because they don't have a picture of the mind, they make it seem as if the brain is the mind. The brain is a physical instrument of your body. It is very important. It works with the mind, but it is not the mind. The mind is a movement. It's a thing. It's aware. Not a thing. It's a movement. It's a flow. It's awareness. It's presence. But we think in pictures. If I ask you what the mind looks like, there's a picture that pops up. If I ask you what, your favorite president looks like, there's a picture that pops up. If I ask you what money looks like, there's a picture. But when I ask you about the mind, you don't have a picture, or you're thinking about the brain. So they created this stick person. It's a stick person to help us understand the mind. Now, again, you could believe your mind looks like whatever you want, but this is what I teach my students at the Great School of Life. This is how people unlock their inheritance, by understanding this drawing. Now, the top circle is the mind part of the mind. The bottom circle is the body part of the mind. The body is an instrument of the mind. If it's in your body, if it's in your reality, it started in the mind. If it's in the reality, it started up here. You can bet everything on it. If you see an apple fruit in your reality, you can bet your bottom dollar there is an apple seed in your mind. It has to be. As within, so without. If you plant an apple seed, I'm going to ask you guys this question. How many times out of 100 are you going to plant an apple seed and reap a mango? How many times out of 100? Right? So 1 out of 100, 10 out of 100, 100 out of... How many times out of 100 are you going to plant an apple seed and reap a mango? How many times is that going to happen? Somebody answer me in the comments. 0. Vinci said 0. 0. 0. Looney says 0. 0. How am I going to plant an apple seed and not reap an apple? If I plant an apple seed, the only thing that I can be sure of is that I'm going to get an apple. And if I want to change the apple that I receive, I don't try to change the apple into a mango on the physical plane. I go to the garden and I uproot the apple seed, the apple tree, and I plant a mango seed. That's not confusing, right? That makes a lot of sense, right? When you think about it like that, you're like, okay, that makes sense. If I plant an apple seed, I get an apple fruit. Duh. If I plant an apple seed, I get an apple tree. Nothing confusing about that. So what I want you to understand is, if you look at your fruit right now, if you look at your reality, your life, and you see any type of lack or limitation, that is an indication, a clear indication, that there is a seed of lack or limitation or poverty in consciousness. And until you uproot that seed, you're going to continue to produce the fruit. What do we try to do, though? We try to change the fruit. We try to change the apple into a mango. We try to get another strategy, get another action, do something different. No, it's not about doing different, because the only way for you to do something different is to be something different. You can't change poverty on the physical level. You don't work with effects. If you want change, you work with the cause of the effect. This is the effect. This is the world of effect. If you want to go to the cause and actually change the world of effect, you have to go up. You cannot work with your illusional world. Does that make sense? I want to stop rushing to feel safe. Thank you for saying that, Passion. Hold on one second. Passion, what are you rushing to? I used to be a rusher. Yep. Actually, I probably stopped rushing. If I'm going to be honest with you, Passion, I probably stopped rushing about 3 months ago. Not even going to hold you. I'm 28, baby. But what are you rushing to? You want to stop rushing to feel safe. Why are you rushing? You rushing to the grave? You think you don't have any time? What's going on? Yeah, definitely got to heal your nervous system. You're so intelligent. So are you, baby. You can't see intelligence in me if it's not in you, my love. I'm a mirror of you. But thank you. I want to stop rushing to feel safe, right? Why are you rushing? You have to, because let's actually talk about this, Passion. Let's actually use Passion's example. So we're gonna take passion through the life recipe. This is what I would do if passion was my student. Now, I would do this in a much longer time frame, of course. I wouldn't do this in 25 minutes, but I would do this exactly. This is how we would start. So passion says, so what passion's intention is, right? Because the first thing I have you do in the life recipe is actually state your intentions. So the intention is to stop rushing to feel safe. So let's just say passion is going through the life recipe. She's about to understand how to get into the cocoon and become a butterfly because she wants to feel safe. That's her intention. Great. She wants to feel safe. Now, number one, passion says she wants to stop rushing to feel safe. So now passion needs to understand what the seed is that she has rooted because she knows what the fruit is, right? She doesn't feel safe. She wants to stop rushing. She doesn't feel safe. That's the reality she's living. Well, passion needs to know where that came from. What is the seed that created that for her? What happened, right? What experience has she had? What perception, belief does she have that's keeping her in this state of perpetual rushing where she doesn't feel safe? So what I typically would have passion do is I would have her ask, why am I rushing? Like I am. Because every time you ask a question, you get an answer. If you ask a question, you have to have an answer. God does not give us question without answer, desire without fulfillment, idea without physical manifestation. So why are you rushing, passion? But I think it comes from child poverty and carrying other burdens financially. You see that? See how passion just uprooted that seed? She just uncovered that seed. So let me stop real quick. The conscious mind is what we call the thinking mind. This is the aware mind. The word conscious means aware. So when you see the word consciousness, that means awareness. Okay. So the conscious mind is what we call the aware mind. This is the part of the mind that we use that are attached to our senses. So our senses are attached to the conscious. The subconscious is the female aspect of creation, and this is the emotional mind. So the conscious is the male, the subconscious is the female, because in creation, on the 3D plane, we have to have duality, up, down, hot, cold, male, female, yin, yang. Okay, we have to have what we call opposites. So we have the conscious, which is the male aspect, the subconscious, which is the female. Okay, the conscious mind, I want you guys to think of as the farmer with the seed. Okay, farmers sow seeds into the earth, correct? The farmer chooses the seed. That's how I want you to think about the conscious. The conscious mind chooses the seed. Okay, so you get to choose what type of seed you want. Let's say it's an apple seed, or let's say it's a banana seed. The conscious mind then gives the banana seed to the subconscious, which is representative of the earth or the garden. The farmer gives the seed to the earth. What does the earth do? The earth has to accept it. The earth doesn't get to reject. The subconscious cannot reject. Whatever you give the subconscious, it will accept and it will manifest it in your life. This is the garden again. This is where the seeds are. Okay? So the seed that we just uprooted, and this is the other thing. The word subconscious means under awareness. Sub means under. Under awareness. That means you're not aware of it. Passion cannot change. And this is why what we do is so important and is so transformational. Passion cannot change her fruit until she becomes aware of the seed. How's she going to change something she's not aware of? That's impossible. You can't escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. So first, right, passion said, and let me go back. Is there a thing to be too patient? LOL. What do you mean? So what does patience mean to you, agent? Does that mean that you're waiting? I was talking to a beautiful young lady earlier about waiting. Is that what you mean when you say patient? Because what does patient mean to you? Does it mean wait? Okay. So passion said, but I think it comes from child poverty and carrying other burdens financially. Okay. So passion, right, wants to stop rushing to feel safe. So that's the reality. Why is she rushing? Right? Passion is rushing, right? Because of this experience of childhood poverty. Now, I wouldn't say that I went through childhood poverty, right? I guess I grew up kind of middle class, right? We always had what we needed. But I can only imagine, right, growing up in an environment, right, where there's not enough, where your parents are rushing. I can only imagine the type of environment Passion was in. Do you think her parents had time to talk to her about emotional regulation? I actually have been making videos about emotional regulation. Do you think that Passion's parents had time to say, how are you feeling today? No, they probably had multiple jobs, back to back, working 20-hour, 18-hour, 16-hour days, trying to maybe get some sleep, and then have children to feed. Imagine growing up around that. As a child, you don't know that there's anything else. So you accept that as your reality. I want you guys to understand the belief system you hold, you got from your parents, the media, church, friends, experiences as a child. From 0 to 7 is critical. Your conscious awareness doesn't really form until around 7. That means for the first 7 years of your life on earth in the physical realm, your subconscious is wide open. And what did we just say about the subconscious? It can't reject. It has to accept whatever it's given. It can't reject. So as a child, passion's getting these ideas that you got to rush, that life is hard, that you're not going to have enough, that you got to work multiple jobs, you got to have, be frustrated, whatever it is. That just went right into the subconscious. And because the subconscious is 97% of her results, she knows consciously that she can slow down. She knows that there's no real threat, but her subconscious doesn't. Her subconscious is operating from the seeds that she's been planting since she was a baby. Okay? Does that make sense? Awareness is the first step. Always. Always. Yeah, I want my husband to stop projecting to our son. My husband was adopted. Ooh, hold on one second. Agent said, yes, waiting, but you were kind of answering my question, growing up in lack. Okay, gotcha. And this is the thing too. This is one of the things that I actually learned from one of my mentors. And it's something that I've shifted here recently because I am a little bit more open-minded. But she used to say that patience means wait. Because when people tell you to be patient, they want you to wait, essentially. They're like, just be patient. They want you to wait. Right. And what she used to tell me was, I don't want to be patient. I want to be present. And this is something. And like I said, I was speaking to someone earlier and I kind of alluded to this. Right. Like, I don't want you to be in a waiting phase. I don't want you to be waiting on something. You're not waiting on anything. You're recognizing that everything that you need and want you have right now. And since you're in the energy of having everything that you want and need right now, everything you need and want is going to come to you. But if you're in the energy of not having and you're in the energy of need or in the energy of want, you're in the energy of not having. And that's what you're going to get. So that's one piece of it, right? You can look at patience as wait. But the way that I look at patience now is that patience is love and faith put together, right? Because patience is the faith to know, right, that everything you need is always given to you at the exact moment. And to know that God knows everything, right? That's the faith piece. But the love piece is to enjoy the life you're living now, regardless of what you're waiting for, right? So the way that I kind of came up with this is I was thinking about my son, right? Because I was thinking about patience and I was like, bro, I'm not patient. Like, I'm going to be present to how this is already my dream life. I'm not going to be patient. But when I was thinking about my son and, being patient with him, right? I had a different feeling about it. Because it's not that I'm waiting on my son to change, or it's not that I'm going to be present to how he already is, how I want him to be. I'm going to love him in the energy that he's in today, who he is today. And I'm going to have faith that the man that he is supposed to be, he's going to mature into. Right. So that's how I look at patience now, faith and love. But essentially, right, a lot of times patience feels like wait because that's the connotation that's given to it. Right. Patience feels like wait. Just be patient. Just be patient. Right. But I want you, when I say be patient, or when I use the word patience, I want you to think of having faith and love at the same time. That's what patience is. Loving your present circumstances and having the faith to know that everything is turning in your favor in this moment and forever. Does that make sense? So I don't need anything, be in the state of having, correct. Because agent says, so I don't need anything, be in the state of having. Yes, because I want you to think about this. God tells us that God is everything we want and need. Is that not what God said? Is God not the fulfillment of all your wants and needs? Well, who is God? Where is God? That's who you are. You are that power. You are the all. You are one with it. You can't be separated. So when I'm telling you to be in the energy of having, the first part is I want you to recognize why I'm saying that. I'm not telling you to lie to yourself. I'm telling you the truth of who you are. You don't need anything. You have everything because you have God or divine source, whatever word you want to use, universe, right? You have God. So you don't need anything at all. Nothing. Because you have it all. So the way that you do this on the physical plane, though, the way that I help you do this to see it physically, is let's say we're talking about money, because money is something that a lot of people feel they need, right? And they need to see it in the bank account. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about money. So God is all the money. Okay, God owns all the money. Every dollar bill that will ever exist belongs to the big God. And you are one with the big God. So that means you have all the money you could ever need at your disposal right now, instantly. Instantly. Okay? Okay, I know you know that. So now that you know it, now we're going to start to see it physically. So the way that I help my students do this is I want you to look around your house right now. And I want you to point out all the money that you're swimming in. Because I don't care what your bank account says. Your bank account can be in the negative. I had a student tell me their bank account was in the negative. And I reminded them that you have to pull an arrow all the way back in order for it to go anywhere. In order for an arrow to actually do what it's supposed to do, you got to pull that hole all the way back. That's number one. But back to what we was talking about. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I was talking about the negatives. Oh, money in your bank account. So it doesn't matter what's in your bank account. I don't care if you're $60,000 in credit card debt. You're probably watching this live through a phone that money paid for. You're using Wi-Fi that money paid for. You're probably sitting in a chair that money paid for. You're probably going to eat dinner tonight that money paid for. You're probably going to go into a bed that money paid for. Probably going to brush your teeth with money that paid with a toothbrush that money paid for. Wash your ass with water that money paid for. So when I'm telling you to be in the energy of having, I'm not telling you to lie to yourself. I'm not telling you to act as if you have money or pretend. I'm showing you that you do right now. Just because it's not in the form of dollars and cents does not mean you don't have, you got to pull that hole all the way back. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Some of the comments didn't come through. My bad. Empress, I missed this comment. Sorry, love. You got to pull that hole all the way back. So visualize a prosperous life and I will have it abundantly. So yes, visualizing is a piece of it. You want to visualize, yes, but it's not the seeing of it. It's the feeling. It's the feeling in the visualization. You can visualize all day long, just like you can meditate. You can do the things. It's not about the action. It's about the consciousness you're in when you're in the action. It's about the feeling you're in. It's about the thinking. It's about the energy that you're in. Right? It's about your level of awareness. So visualizing is good though. Yes, that's one of the tools that I teach, right? I love visualizing. That's actually your most important business life tool. Your imagination, oh my God, it doesn't get better than that. That's where everything starts. Everything that you experience in your reality started in the imagination. That doesn't mean that you consciously decided to have it, but it's in there. And because it's in there, whether you know it or not, it's producing the fruit. Does that make sense? Yeah, you got to pull that hole all the way back. Okay, so let's come back here for a second. Okay, so I don't even remember what we're talking about, but we were talking about passion, and we unlocked one of her beliefs. Right, so we uprooted the seed. That's what we were doing. We're going into the subconscious. This is what we call shadow work. Right? You can call this process that I take you through similar to a dark night of the soul, right? This is some language that I've just become accustomed to, or I've just started to hear, and it really resonates, right? It's this journey of you going inward into the depths of who you truly believe you are and uncovering it. If you want permanent change, I don't teach you guys how to manifest intermittently. This is your actual life. You live like this. You live heaven on earth. You are the butterfly. There's no up and down manifestation. No, it's constant. It's your actual being. You don't have to try to do it anymore. It's who you are. It's natural. And you only get what feels natural to you. You don't get what feels unnatural. So if it feels unnatural for you to be a millionaire, you're not going to be a millionaire. If it feels unnatural for you to own a business, you're not going to own a business. If it feels unnatural for you to be a wife to a loving king that treats you like a queen, it's not going to happen for you. If it's natural for love to feel like pain, that's what you're going to experience. If it's natural to be in poverty, that's what you're going to experience. If it's natural to be in lack, to perceive lack, that's what you're going to experience. This is good, coach. Thank you, love. That's what you're going to experience. You can't experience anything outside of what you believe to be true. Yeah, so here in the formula, step 5 is match the the energetic frequency of the desired reality. Okay, so the life recipe down here at the bottom, This is a 7-step process to get you from caterpillar to butterfly. You as a human, because that's essentially what you have to do to get to your dream life. It is a death and rebirth. You have to die to who you are today, and you have to be reborn into the image of the perfection that you already are. Now, the 5th step in this process, though, is to match the energetic frequency of the desired reality. Okay, so I want you guys to understand, there's a little quote down here. This is by Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein said, everything is energy. So you can spell it like energy, or you can spell it like energy, inner God, inner goddess, whatever you want to spell it, however you want to do it. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. He said, match the frequency of the desired reality, and you cannot help but to get it. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but to get that reality. It can be no other way. Okay. So here, the 4th step in the life recipe, which is the step that most people start with. A lot of times when I speak to, or when I really see anybody teaching manifestation, or teaching like mindset work, or teaching special or self-improvement or development, they always start in the middle of the process. It's always, what do you want? What's the goal? What type of life you want to live? Hold on. Pause. You don't even know who you are, who you think you are. Let me say that. You don't even know what's already in your garden. How are you going to plant a new life in here? How are you going to plant new seeds on top of old seeds? It doesn't work like that. This garden is full. Your subconscious mind right now is full of seeds. That's why your life is full of abundance. It's either an abundance of what you want or an abundance of what you don't want. Either way, it's abundance. But your subconscious right now is full of seeds. And what people try to do is they try to figure out what the new seeds they want, and then they try to plant them on top of old seeds. It doesn't work like that. You may get some results, but it's not going to be permanent. And you want to be permanently transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's not renewing your mind. That's just putting some shit on top of it. That's not what we're doing. So we don't start with what do you want? We start with who do you believe you are? What do you believe is true? What have you been programmed to believe as reality? That's where we start. Let's figure out what's in here and make room for this. So first step, figure out what's in the subconscious. Now, we're not going to go over the questions. She said that, look, and this is the thing. I'm very authentic. I'm very passionate, and I'm very much so a truth teller. I want you to get this information the way that I've gotten it. It took me 5 years to figure it out. It could take you 6 months. Doesn't have to take you 5 years. It took me 5 years because I was trying to do it on my own, figure it out. I had to create this life recipe, trial and error. I had to step in my face, step out, step in, step waver. Now, this one right here, M. Simone, oh, baby, rooted, grounded. There's nothing you can do for my faith to waver. Literally nothing. Absolutely nothing. Mind you, 6 months ago, wavering. Just like, when you go to when y'all go to the car shows or the car lots and they have those like wiggly things. That's how it was. In fact, just like wiggling, flying with the wind. Every time the wind came in, blew my face. A lot of y'all are like that. You got to get grounded. And the way you get grounded is to figure out how you are currently. Get all this shit out the way. All this BS. Get that out. Get that out the garden. Make room. Forgive. Forgive means to let go of completely. Not half-ass. Completely. So first you're gonna pull up your seeds, pull all the seeds out of your garden, pull them all out, get them out, pull them out. Then you're gonna let them go. You're gonna bless and release them. Thank you for how you've nourished me in the past. Thank you for trying to protect me. Thank you for whatever. And then let that shit go. Throw it away. Put it in the trash. Now we got space. Ooh, we got space. We could put something here now because we have space. But before we put something there, let's get into the feeling of it. Let's get into the energy. Let's get in spirit. Let's get into our God consciousness. Over here, see how it says spirit? When I say in spirit, I want you to get inspired. I want you to get in spirit. I want you to feel your Godness. What does it feel like? If I asked you what God feels like, what would you say? Peace, abundance, ease, joy, love, gratitude. How can you get into that feeling? So we're going to get into that first. Before we start planting new seeds, we're going to bless our garden. And we're going to get in spirit because we about to create some great, ain't nobody ever seen a garden like this. The one you about to create, baby, they can't do it like you. That's why God gave it to you. Nobody was going to create the great school of life like me. That's why God gave it to me. And I'm not in competition with anybody else because I can't do what everybody else does. I can only do what M. Simone does. And that's all I'm supposed to do anyway. Now, we're going to pull all these seeds out, pull the seeds out, let them go, throw them to the wayside. We're going to get in spirit. Thank you, God. Let's get into gratitude. Let's get into love. Ooh, I'm about to create my dream life. I done unlock my inheritance. That's how you are. Thank you for the rose, baby. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate you, baby. Okay. How to operate in that confidence. Okay. Hold on, love. Okay. So get in spirit, get into your God power. We're going to raise our awareness. We're going to get from in our head and we're going to get into spirit. Okay. We're going to get off the physical and we're going to raise ourselves up in vibration. Vibration is the energy that you're in, the vibration of the energy. Everything is energy, just like you. And you have a certain vibration. You have a certain frequency. Okay. Frequency is the rate of vibration, the speed of it. So we get in spirit, we raise our vibration, we get into gratitude, we get into love, we get into joy, because we're about to create the best life we've ever lived. This shit about to be monumental, okay? Now we're going to create the goals. Now we're going to create the dream life. You see how we made space, we uncovered some things, we let go of some things, and then we got into the energy. Now we're ready to create the dream life. Now we got space for it. That's why a lot of the things you're trying to do aren't permanent, because you haven't truly made the space. You have to make the space. Okay. Step 4. Now we're going to create our dream life. What seeds do we want? Because God gave us an infinite amount. Did you hear me? Let me say it again. God gave us an infinite amount. Did you hear me? I don't think so. Let me say it again. God gave us an infinite amount. That means there's no limit to what you can ask for. And it doesn't make you greedy. I talk to people a lot. And I always ask you guys how much money you've made in a month, right? What's the most you've ever made, right? So let's say somebody says 10,000. And then I say, okay, great. Over the next 6 months, right? God is going to give you all the money you ask for. How much do you want a month, right? And then they say something like 20,000. So 10,000 to 20,000, that's only double, okay? Now, I got a math degree. You guys don't know this, right? I got a 4-year math degree in 3 years. I also graduated cum laude. So numbers are my thing. We not doubling your income, for one. And for 2, we're not asking the infinite for 20 bands. Are we talking about the infinite? $20,000? Baby, $100,000. Let's start there. And that's only 1.2. We're talking about God, remember? So when I say we're going to create the desired reality, we're going to go big. As big as you can think of right now, that's where I want you to start thinking from. That's why I called it Thinking from the End. That's why the course is called Thinking from the End. Because once you decide what type of life you want to live, now you got to start thinking from it already being done. Right now, you're thinking of your dream life. It's outside of you. You're not one with it. And because you're not one with it, you're not physically experiencing it. So you got to start to think from it already being done, because it is already done. If you can go into your mind right now and you can see yourself with $1 million, that is the actual image of a reality that you can step into. If you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. So you're going to create the desired reality, whatever that means for you. Okay. Whatever it means to you. So, and we don't just talk about money, right? We're talking about money right now just because, money is a universal piece that I think a lot of people, have a desire for more of. But let's just say we're talking about money, right? We're going to create the desired reality when it comes to money. And like I said, go big or go home. God ain't no budget. Ain't no fiscal plan. This ain't the government that shut down anytime somebody does something they don't fucking like. We're talking about God. Unconditionally supportive and unconditionally loving. There's nothing God can do to cut you off. Hear me now. So we're going to ask for more than enough, because we want enough for ourselves and we want to be able to generously give to others. So you need to ask for some for somebody else too, because they probably ain't going to ask because they think it's greedy. So go ahead and ask for them. Okay, so you're going to determine what you want, but then I need you to know who you need to be to get it. Because the reality is a millionaire has a certain belief. Someone who doesn't have enough has a certain belief. So now that we know what your new reality is, what you want your new reality to be, now who do you need to be? What type of consciousness do you need to have? What type of beliefs, thoughts, and feelings does the millionaire version of you have? Do they go into a grocery store and complain because the meat is $2 more? No. Especially when they have the money for it. Somebody needs to hear that. Stop going into grocery stores complaining about the rise of the prices and you have the money for it. Please be grateful that you have the money for it. Please. Thank you, God, that I have extra still and the prices went up. That's getting in spirit. That's thinking from the end. Versus, oh, well, the prices went up. Now I got to spend more. Who cares? You have it to spend. Why are you complaining? Because if you didn't have it to spend, then you'd be pissed off because you got to put shit back. So why don't you just enjoy the fact that God gave you overflow for what you need? Let's do that. Okay. Now, hold on, y'all. Let me read the comments. I ain't trying to come for y'all next. I just want y'all to understand what I'm telling you. I want you to think about these things. Because when you start to think, this shit don't make sense. It don't. Thank you, Shadea, for the heart me, baby. I appreciate you. And Indy, I appreciate you, love. Hi, Layla. How are you? Be fruitful and multiply that part. Give me $250 a month. Okay, let's go to $1 million a month. $250. Let's do 500,000. Let's do 6 mil. Okay, OMG, I have a math degree as well. Okay, alignment. I love that. Yes, manifest that, Miss Millions. I'm trying to tell. I can. OMG, be my mentor. Absolutely, girl. I would love to. Click the link in my bio. Submit an application. Book a call with me. Let's talk. Let's see if this is right for you, because I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you. Okay, so the question was match this part right here. But last part I want you to remember. When it comes to step 4, you're going to get very specific with what you want. A big house, that ain't specific enough. A 7-figure home, that's not specific enough. A ranch style, that's not specific enough. You need to be specific. God is like Amazon. Okay? You put in specifically what you want and God still gives you 30,000 answers to the specific thing. So be as specific as possible, because the more specific you are, right, the better the chances are that you're going to get it. And this is also what I say. I want you to say this or something better. So when I say be specific, I want you to be specific, but I also want you to be open to more. Because again, even though I do have you come from God's perspective, you're still coming. You still have your human mind. You can't turn it off. So you're still going to have some type of limitation, which is not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I want you to do is remind God, like, hey, this or something better than this. Because I already know that you the big God. So if you have something better in mind for me, go and throw that on there. Okay? Definitely need this. Okay, I'm great. I'm gladful. I'm grateful. FYI, I have been unemployed as of yesterday. Congratulations. Congratulations. 2 things. 1, you're never unemployed because you're employed by God. What happened was God took the vessel that you were dependent on, and now God is going to replace it with a new vessel. The other thing of that is God is actually calling you to step out on faith. Because I know that there's something else that you would rather be doing. I know that. And maybe you're not doing it because it doesn't bring you money, or it hasn't brought you money. That's not why you should do it. You do it because you want to, not because it's going to bring you money. You do it because it brings you joy. So congratulations. You're welcome, love. Congratulations. I left my job in January of 2024. That's the last time that I worked for somebody as far as a person. I work for the big God through the Great School of Life. Hear me again. I work for God through the Great School of Life. So if this vessel, the Great School of Life, is taken for some reason, or it is no longer a vessel, I'm always employed. I am always connected to the source, and the source will always give me another vessel to receive my good. Always. So the vessel has been removed. Your source is still infinite. And actually, now you don't even have a blockage to how you can get the wealth. Now you have more options to get it. That's how I need you to look at this. Because this period of being employed by God can be the biggest and greatest blessing of your life. If you start to look at it as the blessing that it is, and start to say, okay, God, I've got this free time. What do you want me to do? What do I love to do? Ask yourself that. What do I love to do? What would I do for free? What would I do no matter if I ever got recognized, paid? What would I do? What would I spend my days doing? And that's what you start immediately. The quickest way that whatever step you can take that step and just keep stepping out. You're not going to see the whole staircase. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. What you're learning how to do now is walk by faith and not by sight. Truly, truly, this is your embodiment season. Okay? So I love that. I'm so happy for you. Now, step 4, create the desired reality and who we need to be. Who do I need to be? And then step 5, match the frequency, the energetic frequency. Everything is energy. So you have to match the energetic frequency. Every single emotion is energy in motion. All energy vibrates at different frequencies. All emotions vibrate at different frequencies. Love vibrates a lot higher than hate. Enlightenment vibrates a lot higher than grief. Okay? So when I say match the energetic frequency, you have to decide what your dream life feels like. Because your life right now has a feeling. You might not know what it is, but if you ask myself, what does it feel like to be me? You'll get answers. But you have to determine the dream life feels a certain way as well. When you're calling in $250,000 a month, what does that feel like? Freedom, joy, gratitude, love, abundance. It feels like you're in spirit. It's very similar to these feelings. But now what you want to do is you want to match it to your feeling must match that feeling. You must get the feeling of having the dream life. This is what we were talking about earlier. Remember, it's not about having money. It's about having the feeling of money, right? I was reminded of this earlier, and I want to make sure I give you guys this as well. It doesn't take money to make money. That's what they told us. It takes money to make money. That's not true. What they're saying is, and what they actually mean, but they don't know this, is that it takes the energy of having money to have money. Physical dollars doesn't bring physical dollars, because a lot of people have physical dollars and they're in the energy of desperation, hustle and grind, chase, get it out the mud. So it's not about having physical dollars. It's about having the energy of money. Energy of having money, that part, the energy of it. Anytime you want to get anything physically, you first get the energy. Anytime you want to get something physically, you have to first get the energy. The energy. Okay? You have to get into the energy of it first. So how does that feel? That's what I'm so what does abundance feel like? So your dream life, I can't tell you what it would feel like, right? Indy, I want you to tell me. If you were calling in $250,000 a month, what would that feel like to you? Because I can't tell you what it feels like to me. It's not about me. That's not what I want. It's what you want. So how does it feel to you? What does that feel like? When I tell you that you wake up every day and there's tens of thousands of dollars waiting for you to circulate every day. Tens of thousands. Peace, clarity, victory. Right? So your job, you know that your dream life feels like peace, clarity, and victory. Your job is to start to feel that peace, clarity, and victory now. So I'm going to add some more words to it, right? Freedom of choice, right? So free. I'm going to add some more this or something better, correct? I'm going to add some more words to that, right? Freedom of choice. I'm going to add, it would feel abundant. It would make me feel prosperous. These are good words. It would make me feel grateful. These have very strong emotions tied to them, very strong energy, right? It makes me feel, what's the other word? What's the other word I was about to say? Love. Love is a beautiful. If you can get into the energy of self-love, unconditional self-love, you'll unlock everything. A lot of people believe, based off the results that I've gotten this year, that I've either been on a weight loss journey or I've been focused on getting more money or building my business. None of that's true. I've actually released 75 pounds of weight and I have not been on a weight loss journey. I have not even been focused on my weight at all. You know what I've been focused on? Self-love. This year has been what I called a God self-love journey. Me learning how to love myself the way that God loves me. Unconditionally. No condition. That means no matter what I produce, what I don't produce, what I say, the pain that I cause myself or others, none of that makes me love myself any less. And because I have been vibrating at the level of self-love, the weight falls off. The money comes in. The students come in. Do you know how many people I've talked to over the last 4 weeks? I just started talking about my business for real, like consistently in the energy of, excuse me, that's not true. I just started talking about my business consistently in the energy of already having the clients. That's the difference. I've been talking about my business for 5 years, but I wasn't in the energy of having. I was doing, but not being. That's where the switch is. You have to be. You have to be before you do. You got to be before you do. You cannot do anything without first being. You can't take any action without first these things happening. Consciousness is first. And then the action, the strategy comes next. Okay? So now we have ran all the way over time, but I'm gonna give y'all 4 more minutes so we can go through these last bullets, okay? So when I say match the energetic frequency, this is where you're gonna start to get into the feeling. I told you guys at the beginning that one of the books that I give my students is Feeling is the Secret, right? That's what it's about. It's about the feeling of having money, not actually having money. Because remember, I had $12.61 in my bank account and I felt, hear me, hear how I'm saying this, I felt more prosperous than I did with 12 bands in my bank account. Because it's not about the money. It's about the feeling that you're in. It's about the feeling of having money. And that $12.61, I had everything that I needed and wanted in that moment. Everything. Literally. I'm not going to tell the story right now because it's a little long, but essentially. Okay? So I'm telling you that because it's not about the physical. It's about the internal. You don't need to see dollars in your bank account to feel as though you're a millionaire. And the feeling of being a millionaire precedes the physical dollars coming into your bank. Be, do, have. Say it again. Be, do, have. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By who? I don't know what I said, love. Agent, when you say by who, I don't know what question you asking me because I don't even remember what I said. Be, do, have. Y'all, you messing up because you're trying to have before you be. Or you're trying to do before you be. That's why God says seek first. What did God say? Seek first the kingdom of God. Where's the kingdom of God? Within. The Bible tells us that the kingdom of God is within. So your first step, seek the within and his righteousness. Again, when you guys are reading the Bible, this is something that I've been doing to help me understand God more. Anytime I see the word Christ in the Bible, I add the word consciousness to it. Anytime I see Christ, I add the word consciousness. Because again, God says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. I want you to understand that righteousness means standing upright, standing in the Lord, standing in spirit. Meaning having the right belief, identity about who you are. You are not your body, you are God experiencing itself. The right thinking. How does someone who knows that they are God in human form or God's son or daughter think, feel? If you can seek the within, seek to know more about you, more about God, and the right consciousness, all the things will be added unto you. It's by law. That's how it works. You plant the seed, you get the apple. You plant a mango seed, you get an apple seed. What you've been trying to do is trying to change the mango into an apple. And it's very frustrating because that's not how it works. Okay? Lastly, once we match the energetic frequency, once we're in the feeling of our dream life, now we're going to start to act. We're going to start to act. We're going to start to take some action. Because now that we've done 99% of the real work, now we're just going to act. We're going to start to move inspired action and aligned action. That means if you're wanting to call in $250,000 a month, you probably want to sell something. There's probably something that you want to sell, right? Because sales is the way for everything. Business is not business unless there's sales. So the way for you to really get to whatever your dream goal is when it comes to income, right? Sales is going to be a piece of it. Whether you're selling yourself to a boss to hire you, or you're selling yourself to a client to hire you, you're still selling either way, right? You're not going to get away from selling. Righteousness is Christian. Oh, Christ consciousness. So let me say this. So righteousness, when you see the word righteousness, I want you to translate it to right consciousness. So when you see righteousness in the Bible, I want you to translate it to right consciousness. Now, when you see the word Christ by itself, because you won't see anything else, you'll see Jesus Christ or Christ Jesus. When you see the word Christ, I want you to add the word consciousness behind it. So I hear you say that we need to be delusional. Is that Christ consciousness? Honestly, don't. I talk about delusion sometimes, but this is the way that I look at delusion. And this is how I'll help you keep it with Christ consciousness. The way that I see delusion is what I've done. If I'm delusional, what I've done is I've broken off from the illusion of the physical world. Because the prefix DE, like on a word, DE, that means off. So when you decide, you cut off. When you delete, you right, you take it off, right? When you're delusional, or when you're having delusions, right? What's happened is you've cut off your attachment from the illusion of reality. And you're no longer wavering with the world. You're now reattached. And I won't say reattached because you can never be truly detached from God. But now you've taken your consciousness from the world of illusion and you're giving it back to God. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. This method definitely transformed your life. Yes. Hello, Diamond. How are you, baby? Welcome in. Okay. Last thing. So like I said, you got to start taking some action. Now that we've done the inner work, now we're going to move our body, because there is, in this universe, we have what's called least action. Okay. So there is action, right? But it's least action. It's effortless action. I want you to think about the flowers. The flowers don't actually physically uproot themselves every day to go get water, to get sunlight, to get nutrients. They stay rooted and grounded, right? And they get everything they need by just being. So when I say effortless action, their roots draw in everything that they need. So for you, I want you to see yourself as that flower too. My job is to be. Now, I do want you to act, of course. What would you love to do? Because life is going to be really, really boring if you have everything and you do nothing. And it actually won't even work like that. So yeah, I want to know what actions you would be taking if you were already living the dream life. And I want you to start taking those actions, right? Effortless action, correct? Least action. You know, the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is assumption, consciousness. And then lastly, once you start taking those actions, once you start moving things forward, God starts to react. So it's a back and forth action, reaction, and it's altering your reality. But now I want you to be in joyful, keyword is joyful, expectation. Every single day, I want you to wake up with the expectation that people are signing up in your business. You just got a $50K deposit. The man of your dreams just sent you a DM. Whatever it is you want, I want you to expect it. I do teach you how to expect without attachment, because we are detached from how, when, and where. There is a difference. We're not expecting being attached to it like it has to happen. We're expected from a detached state. There's a difference, right? So joyful expectation, we're going to expect that the dream life is here, and then we're going to prepare for it. If you ask God for a mansion, we're going to start looking at houses. We're going to start getting ideas of what we really, truly want. We're going to maybe go tour some houses. Maybe we see how much of the loan we need to get. We're going to prepare. We're going to show God that we expect to receive what we ask for. If you expect but you don't prepare, you don't truly expect. You have to expect it and then prepare. See, the world has told you to expect the best and prepare for the worst. That's survival mode. You're no longer in survival mode. If you're on this live, it's because you're breaking out of survival mode. So we're no longer going along with the notion that I'm going to expect the best and then prepare for what I don't want to happen. Does that make sense? I'm going to expect everything that I want, and then I'm going to prepare for what I don't. You think you're going to get what you expect or what you prepare for? Thank you for liking the live, love. Do you think you're going to get what you expect or what you prepare for? Okay, so yes, we're going to expect from a place of detachment. We're going to prepare to receive it. What are you preparing for? You're preparing to receive. You're preparing to receive the life that you've asked for. Because what you've done so far is you're the caterpillar, right? You were the caterpillar. You got into the cocoon. You disintegrated. You then reformed into a butterfly. And now you're breaking out of the cocoon to fly and live your butterfly life. So when I say prepare, you're preparing to receive this life. You're preparing to receive that 250 that you said you wanted. You're preparing, or that you're in the energy of, excuse me. You prepared to receive that job that you're in the energy of, that business, that relationship. You're prepared to receive it. Oh, gotcha. Sorry. My fault. So yes, so expect, then prepare, and then reception. Now we're going to receive it. Because we've done what God asked. God said, ask, believe, and receive. Ask, believe, and receive. And that's what we've done. We asked with these first 4 steps. We believed with these 2 steps, 5 and 6. And we received with step 7. That part. Okay? So that's the life recipe. This is a 7-step process that I take my students through. Caterpillar to butterfly, 6 months. Now, this has only been a little over an hour, right? And I can only imagine how much your awareness has expanded. So I want you to truly think about 6 months of hearing these same messages. And when I say the same, I don't mean exactly the same video, but I mean I am God. I have the power. God is always with me. God will never leave me. Walk by faith, not by sight. Seek first the kingdom of God. Hearing that over and over again, right? And then actually starting to get emotionally involved with it, starting to feel like, oh yeah, I can feel my life changing. That's how you know if your life has changed. If you feel different. If you feel the same, it hasn't changed. Okay? It's about the feeling. So everything that I went through with you guys, this is what I teach, right? This is what I go through with my students, right? What do you mean by I am God? Great question. Now, this is the last thing we're going to talk about, Indy. Well, let's flip this real quick. Okay? So first of all, I already feel different. Again, I'm so grateful I came across it. Absolutely. I love this. Okay. What do you mean by I am God? Okay. So the Bible tells us to be still and know that I am God. Okay. Now let's talk about that phrase. I am God. I'm going to write it down here just so I don't, let's put it down here. Now, let's break down what this statement means, but let's talk about the pieces of it first. Okay. So first thing that I want you to know, be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Okay. So let's talk about this. Thank you for liking the live, love. So I want you to understand what God is, right? Because again, when you grow up in a Christian household, as I did, right? And you grow up in certain religious settings, right? They have a certain depiction or a certain perception of God, right? And a lot of times it's a man or a he or some type of person or being. I want you guys to understand what God truly is. Okay? God is not a person, right? God is awareness. God is presence. When we talk about God, what do we say? God is omnipresent, all present. God is omnipotent, all powerful. God is omniscient, all knowing. God is everywhere, all at once. God is the presence, the awareness. The awareness, we give a name. We call it I am. Okay? So anytime you use I am, you are using your God power. I am equals God is. This is the self-definition of God. I am is the self-definition of God. Anytime you use I am, you are saying God is. So I want you guys to think about this when people talk about taking God's name in vain. A lot of us think about this like grandiose thing, like maybe God's not real, or saying curse words and God in the same, whatever it is that they say taking it in vain is. What taking God's name in vain truly means is putting anything after I am that diminishes your God power. For example, I am broke. I am. That's taking God's name in vain, because what you've just done is you said that God is broke. Is God broke? No, that's actually not a true statement. But because you have used your power, your I amness, your God power, that's unconditioned, It has no conditioning when it's I am. I am has no condition. When I say it has no condition, that means it has no form. So remember earlier when I showed you guys the water bottles, right? So the water is considered I am. It doesn't have any form. Like if I pour it out on the table, literally just splatters on the table. Thank you for the rose, baby. So I am is unconditioned awareness. I am is God. And then the that is the conditioning. That's the vessel. So you have I am broke, I am stupid, I am not enough, I'm a terrible mother, whatever it is. You are taking your God power and you are attaching it to something negative or something that is not of God. Okay? So when I say that I am God, what I'm saying is, right, that you are who you are at your core, which is the same awareness as God. Who you are at your core is true awareness. Who you are at your core is unconditioned awareness. You are the same as God at your core. There is no difference at your core. But because God created us, when I say us, I mean humans, God created us to express in an infinite number of ways. Imagine if everybody was God in this unconditioned form. There would be no life. There would be no difference. There would be nothing to experience. You can't experience one thing without experiencing the other. So God created us so that God could experience itself through our I am, through our personality, through our persona, whatever that happens to be. Okay? Say that. There's no way for you to experience light without darkness. Because you have to have a context for everything. If you can see the light, there has to be a context for it. And the context is the contrast, which is darkness. Right? So what I remind you of is that there is duality on this physical plane, but then I remind you that there's no true duality. It's all one. That's the paradox of life. You become aware of the duality, and then you remember that it's actually false and an illusion in the first place, and you come back to oneness with God. Okay? Let me know if that was helpful. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into that because I do need to hop off here. I need to go eat, and I need to go, I got some other things I need to do. Why is it so close to my face? Let me back up. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so if you stayed this far, please understand there's a reason for it. And please understand that now, what is God waiting on? God's waiting on you to make a decision. Thank you for the heart, me, baby. I appreciate you. God is waiting on you to make a decision. Okay? So you can decide. You're welcome, love. You can decide to take everything that I just told you and say, you know what? That's awesome. I love that. And then go back to being exactly who you were being before you got on this live. Or you can say, you know what? I'm worth it. I'm worth figuring out how to be a butterfly. I'm worth my dream life. I'm worth the inheritance. Let me look into this for real. Let me decide that I'm worth that shit. I'm worth investing in myself. I'm worth learning about myself so that I can create the life of my dreams, so that I can be of service to others. I'm worth dying to my present self so that I can become who God wanted me to be. Absolutely. I'm worth that. And if that's you, if you're one of those people, if you're the person that's already trying to figure out or move closer to the success of your life, and you just heard me speak, and you know this is what you want to do, click the link in my bio, submit an application to join Thinking from the End, and book a call with a success advisor. Okay? Outside of that, Thinking from the End is a 6-month course that I take my students through, from caterpillar to butterfly. What we talked about today was very high-level overview. We get very deep. It's not just about money. It is going to be a transformation of self, everything about you. Right? We're going to throw away the things that are no longer serving us. We're going to be grateful for the things that are still serving us. And then we're going to plant some new seeds that's going to really propel us where we need to go. You have a workbook. You have a course. You have live sessions. And you have the ability to earn 20% commission for any students that you refer to the school. That's a way for me to circulate money, to give it to you, to help me build a school. You can click the link in my bio, submit an application, book a call. I don't know how many more slots are left for calls because I don't believe we're taking calls next week. In the week after that, I'm not sure if we will be. So we'll have to see. But if you have a question, send me a DM. Outside of that, what are your daily practices to get where you are now? Daily practices. So one of the things that I like meditation. I like visualization, and I also like using sexual energy to manifest. So currently I use my own sexual energy with me. But when my husband comes, best believe, baby, we're going to be using the sexual energy together to build his empire. Okay? But that's one of my favorites. Absolutely. It's a beautiful way to manifest. It's fun. It's natural. And it's the most surrender energy that you have. It's the most like free energy that you have to give to the divine with an intention. So yeah. I don't talk too much about it on here. I am going to teach a course on it at some point. But yeah, journaling too, like walking, but I don't consistently, probably meditation, visualization. Those are my most consistent, and prayer. I pray every day, multiple times. But outside of that, if you guys have questions, please reach out to me. Jesus and joint session too. We definitely need to have a Jesus and joint session. Hold on, y'all. How do we use I am, meditations, affirmations, EFT tapping? So the method is not the method will work. Any method will work. You're welcome, my love. Any method will work. What you want to do, what's going to make the transformation effective is the feeling behind it. So let me give you an example. This is what a lot of people do with affirmations. And my phone's about to die, so we're going to make this real quick. Most people are like, I am grateful. Or I am a money magnet. I'm 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 a money magnet. There's no feeling in that at all. You can say that shit for 90 days and you will, because you don't feel it. Versus saying, you know what? I am a money magnet. Damn. Do you see how that feels? I only had to say it once. I don't need to say it 30,000 times. The feeling is the secret, not the repetition. Okay? So the subconscious is moved by feeling and then repetition. Okay? Feeling first. That's the most important, right? So I love you all. My phone's about to die, but if you have any questions, reach out to me. If you're interested, not interested. If you're interested, don't reach out to me. If you're committed to creating your dream life in the next 6 months, click the link in my bio, submit an application, book a call. Outside of that, I will be back on Thursday to do another one of these lives for you guys. And then I will be available in the morning to do Get Ready with me. So I love you all. Kisses, send me a DM, like I said, if you have questions. And book a call.